My name is Sarah Baxter. I am currently pursuing my master's in elementary education, and I chose to research the effects of providing quality and consistent research-based intervention on students who are reading below grade level. This is the identified problem. Over half of the fourth grade students at Grantswood Community School are reading below their grade level. The teacher will provide research-based intervention to students reading 2 or more grade levels below their fourth grade reading target and attempt to break this cycle. The reading teacher will use data from the iReady diagnostic to determine the specific reading deficits of her fourth grade students. The teacher will provide research-based intervention to students reading 2 or more grade levels below their fourth grade reading target. This is our school population. We are 58% African American students, 17% Caucasian or white students, 17% Hispanic students, and 100% of our students receive Title I services. On this slide, we are looking at the reliability and the validity of the research instrument. The instrument used is the iReady diagnostic. The diagnostic is provided by the Jefferson County School District. iReady is an adaptive test. That means that the questions change based upon student responses. iReady is evidence-based and geared towards Common Core standards, and it creates an individual learning path after student completion. The first piece of data we are looking at is the iReady diagnostic results for all of fourth grade. This data was collected in the fall of 2021. The results include 3 fourth grade classes, and this is a total number of 69 students who were tested at this time. 17 students were reading on or above grade level, 30 students reading below grade level, just 1 grade level below. 22 students are reading 2 or more grade levels below, and 9 students were not assessed at this time. It's important to mention that I teach reading to all of fourth grade at Grantswood Community School. The numbers represent the sections of my 3 class rotations. So the first one we're looking at is class 1, and that is group 1126. So according to this data, only 3 students are reading currently on grade level, 14 students 1 grade level below, 27% or 7 students reading 2 or more grade levels below. Class 2, that is group 1127, they have similar data here, 3 students who are reading on or above grade level, 7 students who are reading 1 grade level below, and 11 students who are reading 2 or more grade levels below. Group 1128, this is my last rotation. This is the rotation that has the most significant deficits. We have just 5 students, or 20%, who are on or above grade level, 6 students, or 24%, who are reading just 1 grade level below, and then 9 students, or 36%, that are reading 2 or more grade levels below. So after analyzing the data, the researcher discovers the area of concern. So the area of concern is based on the 37% of fourth grade students who are reading 2 or more grade levels below. So this is more severe than just the number of students that are reading a grade level below. They are reading 2 or more grade level below. The largest domain deficits, these are based off of the 5 components of literacy. We have phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension. And our main focus is going to be beginning intervention using the RTI model to correct domain-specific deficits. So this is the action plan and sampling technique. Okay, I think it's important for us to kind of first look at the timeline. The timeline helps us to show a more clear picture of the action plan and sampling technique. The teacher's first goal is to identify the target population, and the target population is fourth grade students without an IEP who are reading below grade level. Next, the researcher creates 2 experimental groups to provide tri-weekly intervention, so that would be intervention 3 times a week. Then the teacher begins an elementary intervention plan for academics for each student represented in the study. Then the teacher begins weekly intervention based on the student's identified deficits in reading. The teacher documents weekly progress for a continuous 6 weeks. The teacher and intervention team meet after 6 weeks to discuss progress. And then finally, all 4th grade students take the iReady winter diagnostic test, and that would occur in December of 2021. And for those that are not familiar with RTI, or the term RTI, that means response to intervention, and it's split into 3 essential tiers. So tier 1 is what everyone in 4th grade would receive. That's just whole group instruction. Tier 2, this is introduced to students who are not appropriately responding to tier 1. So meaning they're not appropriately responding to whole group instruction and the regular curriculum that they're getting with 4th grade. And then tier 3 means they're not responding to tier 2. So if we get to the point where a student needs tier 3, then they would get daily intervention, and then they would also be pulled out by an instructional coach. And it's essential while any student is on the RTI program that we have to progress monitor. And progress monitoring is just data used to determine growth. So students receive tier 2 intervention catered to largest domain deficit on iReady diagnostic, and that's what we're going to focus on during this action research. So we're going to use 2 research-based programs to give our students with these deficits tier 2 intervention. And the first of those is Phonics First, and that's an Orton-Gillingham literacy approach. It offers multisensory tools. Its researcher uses program to intervene with students reading 3 or more grade levels below. So this is going to be more specific to our students with the lowest deficits in reading, specific to phonics. Right Flight is another tool that the teacher will use, and this is a classroom reading rate program. This is really great for fluency in particular and vocabulary. Researcher uses for students with deficit in fluency, comprehension, and vocabulary. Okay, this is the sample technique. The sample is coming directly from the results of the iReady diagnostic. This is for all students reading at least 1 grade level below their target reading level, which would be 4th grade. The selection is 77% of the target population, and the researcher is going to use non-random sampling to create 4 research groups. So these are the variables. These are our research groups. Group 10126. This is 30 minutes of uninterrupted fundamental decoding skills and phonics instruction. So that would be their intervention. Group 10127. This is 30 minutes of uninterrupted intervention as well, and it's going to focus on word meaning, fluency, and comprehension. Group 10128, this is students reading 1 grade level below. Students who are reading 1 grade level below will not receive tri-weekly intervention, but will receive weekly small groups, meaning they'll still get small group time, but they're not going to receive any specific intervention. Group 10129, this is students reading 1 grade level below. Students will not receive tri-weekly intervention or reading small groups. So it's important to discuss the ethics. The parents are going to have to sign an SRIP on behalf of their child. SRIP just stands for Student Reading Intervention Program. It also means we're going to have to meet with the problem-solving team. It means documentation kept in a locked file cabinet. And it also means parent and teacher conferences that are 9 weeks after tri-weekly reading intervention. So I wanted to discuss our results. So we are comparing here the fall results to the winter results. Your fall results showed that 17 students were reading above grade level or on grade level, 30 students reading one grade level below, and then in red, 22 students who are reading 2 or more grade levels below. Now down here, or over off to the side, this was our winter results, and you can kind of see some improvement already here. 25% of students are now reading 1 or more grade levels above. 28 students are reading 1 grade level below. 19 students reading 2 or more grade levels below. So the students reading on grade level increased by 8%, which is fantastic. Students reading below 1 grade level, this increased by 2%, and that doesn't necessarily sound good, but it's good that there was an increase, because that means the number of students reading 2 or more grade levels below that decreased, and that's what we want to see. So I thought it was very important to kind of show you this action plan outcome. This is specific to all 17 students that were placed on Tier 2 or Tier 3 intervention. All 17 students are still reading below grade level, and I think that's important to mention. Of the 17 students, though, 13 made significant growth. So we would have liked to have seen everyone made growth, but that's not always the case, and that just shows that there are still some kinks that would need to be worked out with this intervention program. I wanted to point out student B in particular. Student B went up 92 points. Student A, 58 points. So if you're looking on this chart, you can really see how drastic the numbers changed. Most growth is just going to be between 10, 15, and 20 points. So to see anything other than 20 points is really considered significant. So I'm very proud of those scores. Okay, and our reflection. Again, it's difficult only to rely on an adaptive diagnostic to address growth in students. I would consider future changes to include daily intervention as opposed to tri-weekly. Smaller intervention groups, meaning if we could have just 2 students per intervention group as opposed to 4 or 5. And Tier 3 data team concerns. And these concerns are that not all of my Tier 3 students were pulled consistently, and that is because of the substitute shortage. A lot of our interventionists were having to go into classrooms, other teachers' classrooms, to fill in when they were not there. So I feel like the data is a little bit altered for my Tier 3 students because they weren't getting that necessary instruction. And then I would like to look at some additional research, like more effective programs for intervention, areas that need to be addressed in early elementary, and how to foster growth over the summer. I also would like to consider some professional development opportunities that are specific to the 5 domains in reading.